Welcome back to another edition of the Digital Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Goldberg. I've got two interesting guests today on our show, Steve Wilson and Juan Vides. Welcome back, Steve. You've been here before. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back. I didn't know if I would make the cut or not.
You made it. You made it. And we'll see if we invite Juan back after this one. Welcome to the show, Juan.
Well, thank you, David.
Steve, why don't you, for the listeners who were not fortunate enough to listen to the first show, why don't you give us 30 seconds on who you are and why you're here?
Why I'm here. Okay, as Dave said, my name is Stephen Wilson. I'm the president of Strategic Marketing Works. I tell people that we are an inbound or a content marketing agency. And what that means is that we focus on helping companies, whether B2B or B2C, create the content that consumers are looking for when they do Google searches. So the idea is that if we could create engaging educational content, that the prospect will become a customer.
And Juan, why are you sitting there?
I'm here. Hi, everybody. Thanks, David. My name is Juan Vides again, and I am the owner of TECHACS Corp. What we do is search engine optimization and web design and also online reputation management. I'm also on the board of directors of the American Heart Association of Long Island and also on the board of the Hicksville Chamber of Commerce.
Well, SEO and SEM, and that's the reason why we actually have you here, because that's what we wanted to talk about. They're not new words, but I think they're very often misunderstood.
Yep.
And I'd like to perhaps put some clarity on that in the next 10, 15 minutes. So let's start with SEO. We know it means search engine optimization, but what does search engine optimization mean?
Right, yeah. So that means that you want to optimize your website to be on the first page of Google. That's the number goal. Everybody does, because that equates to dollars, right? So then you have search engine marketing. Search engine marketing is more like ads that you see like on YouTube, for example. You ever see those pop-up ads on YouTube? That's like a search engine marketing and SEO. And there's two equations to SEO. You have the organic and then the paid, the pay-per-click, which you have with Google. If you set a budget with Google and you could pay, and those are the advertisement spots that you see on the right-hand side and also on the top, the first two. But you can say add to it. So, and that's how Google made their money. I think Google made they said about over $3 billion in pay-per-click.
Just in pay-per-click,
yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Let me just jump in, because I like the one aspect that I like about SEM is that different than a regular paid ad in a magazine or a newspaper, people only pay when they click on your ads.
That is correct. Yeah.
As compared to like if you ran an ad in the New York Times, they may tell you that 700,000 people read it.
But you have no idea.
But you don't know if they're going to read your ad or not.
And really important also, another thing to mention, there's been a report that said that mobile devices now do more searches on the internet than any other, they overlap desktop. So more people are on their mobile devices doing searches.
Well, didn't Google also not too long ago come out with a statement that said if your website was not mobile ready,
that's correct,
you're just going to drop off the face of the earth?
And that's part of the optimization, the on-page optimization to make sure that your page is ready to go. I always, say you have to rev up the engine before you go, so then you have to optimize your site, you make sure everything is properly, you have your meta tags, your keywords, your content.
Responsive?
But responsive, that's really important.
What is responsive?
Yeah, what does that mean, responsive?
So responsive means that your website adapts to any screen size, so whether it be on an Android device, iPhone, iPad, or a desktop
iPad
screen.
Mini.
Right.
Any. So the way it displays.
Yeah, it can constrain, almost like think of it like an accordion, how an accordion fits to any screen size. That's what a website, a responsive web is now, that you have to have an accordion type of website look and feel that it can adapt to any screen size. So that's what responsive means.
Now, you keep mentioning Google, but I assume the search engine optimization holds true for other search engines, whether Bing or
Yahoo and Bing, the other players. But let's face it, Google,
Google's a verb.
Yeah, Google's a verb, right. Because Google it, and I would say probably a good 80% of internet users now tend to use Google as the main source of searches,
How often do the search engines, or Google in this case, how often do they update their criteria for search? I mean, is it something like this whole mobile thing that they came out with was a big deal? So Google is constantly changing their algorithms. They have different variations of, they give it specific names, animal names for some reason. So they have like a penguin update. They have a hummingbird update. They have a You got to watch out for the elephant update.
Yeah, no, but they have penguin, panda updates. And it's really interesting that Google is trying to make searches better, almost real-time indexing now. I think that's the new thing that they're talking about, the latest Panda release, which is like real-time index. And what does that mean? It means that your website, when you make a change on your website, automatically Google will pick it up and index. Boom. Yeah. But let me back up a little bit. People think that when they're doing a search on Google, they're searching in the World Wide Web. They're not really searching the World Wide Web. I hate to break it to you guys, but you guys are searching their servers, Google servers. That's what Google makes, their queries so quickly. Mm-hmm. In a half a second, they already did a search in billions of websites to what you're searching for.
Sure.
And they'll scan it within half a second.
Well, it's before you even finish typing.
Yeah, you get the predictive text, exactly. And that's a good way to find out what keywords are popular, by the way. That's a good test. Yeah,
okay,
when you start
feeding you the popular.
Exactly. When you notice when you start typing on the
so
Google.
if I type sun and it finishes it with sunshine,
exactly.
I can assume that more people are searching for sunshine than sunbeam.
And Google will give you a drop down of other suggested keywords, and those are the most popular keywords based on
order.
And that's a good tool to find out when you're doing keyword research to find out which popular keywords are there. Another good way is also look at your competitors. You can find out what keywords they're using. And then third, you can do the tool. Which, by the way, reminds me, I got to owe you, Steve. I owe you some homework.
Okay. Yes.
So Google has a keyword tools, which it's a great tool. It's by AdWords, and Google will tell you what keywords will generate more traffic.
Interesting.
What about, you always explain it better than I do, long tail keywords?
Right. Long tail keywords are keywords that, like, I'll give you an example. Say, for example, you're doing a foot doctor, right? People will type in one keyword, foot doctor, but we'll go after foot doctor Long Island, for example, or foot doctor Nassau County, because this is easy to get up there on the first page. And Google knows when you're doing a search based on your IP address where you're physically located, because if you put the keyword foot doctor, say you're in California, Google will give you all the researches in California. So if you're in Long Island, and
sure.
you type in foot doctor, it'll give you the closest.
So you're saying if I type foot doctor, they will show me a return for California?
No,
based on my IP
address where you're physically located, your IP address. If you go through a proxy, let's just say like a VPN or a proxy, and if your IP address is for some reason in California. Yeah, then Google will give,
right? Yeah, because they don't know.
And that happens to me before because I used Optimum Online, and I got search results from Connecticut. I'm like, I guess I must be going on a server from Connecticut,
right?
So
interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, so you have to. It's so having a long tail keyword, it's a lot easier because let's face it, foot doctor is very difficult to get to the first page of Google. But then it's more easily attainable if you have long tail keywords like foot doctor Long Island, foot doctor New York City, which is more geographically and more specific. The more specific the keyword, the easier it is to get to the first page.
Okay, let's use the foot doctor example, and I hope your wife isn't a foot doctor.
No.
But, so now that foot doctor has an unfortunate experience with a patient, and
yes.
that patient goes crazy on social media, talking about a horrible experience they had with that podiatrist. That falls under reputation management.
That is correct. That is something that we started doing about a year ago, reputation management, and it's a new frontier. It's defending reputation because reputation is everything. You have to guard it with your life. So with reputation, what we do is we help with positive reviews, and we also suppress all the negative stuff by pushing it down to the second page of Google. I always say the best place to hide a dead body is on page 2 of Google because nobody goes there and finds it, So I always say that in my spiel.
So is it just a matter of like bombarding, with good articles? Good
articles, and you have to also put websites. You almost do like a reverse SEO. Think about it, because you're optimizing that particular name, say a specific name,
right.
So you want to, like Steve Wilson, you can create content for Steve Wilson that is going to get indexed by Google.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I would almost imagine that's like protecting your credit these days.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have clients that lost multi-million-dollar deals because they have their name on the front page of the Daily Post, New York Times or, Daily News.
And their customer did a quick search and found out this.
Attorneys. I work with a lot of attorneys. some stuff is like really like, I can't get into much details, but it's like some of the stuff, it's like, fraud, embezzling. It's out there. And if you are part of a big law firm, and you got into some trouble, even if you get, what's the word? Dishonor. You get proven guilty.
Oh, exonerated.
Exonerated.
Yeah, sure.
You still gotta,
it's like in politics. The politician doesn't have to have actually committed the crime or done something wrong. Once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah, guilty.
And you're defending yourself from the beginning.
Well, yeah.
What's the process though of reputation management?
Well, we have to take a look at how severe the case may be, because if let's say you're listed on the Wall Street Journal, I mean, that's a big, highly indexed, FBI. If you're on the FBI.gov or any .gov orgs, those are really tough to push down, because they have so much authority on Google.
Right.
I mean, FBI.gov, I had a client that was on the FBI, believe it or not, that he was there. And
but if it's the local newspaper or the local,
yeah, but even like it's like major newspapers like CNN and all that, that's really difficult to push down those articles because they get so much traffic, and Google gives more authority for those.
And other news agencies pick up from that as well. AP and
So but it's also to let you know, it's not. It's expensive too, because it's a lot of work that you have to do. A lot of people have the misconception, I can do my reputation, but it's really, when they find out the price on that, it's really cost effective, because think about it, you develop a lot of content, writers have to write, and then we have to submit it to various media outlets, so it's a lot of work that goes involved in the reputation management. It's almost like the reverse, like I said, of SEO, because SEO, you're promoting your business,
and it's not something you can automate.
No, it's not. And a lot of the stuff that we do is done manually by hand, because we found out that that's the best way, and we do everything that's called white hat. And there's two types of theories: is white hat and black hat. White hat is doing everything by the books by Google, and black hat is doing illegal stuff that Google doesn't like.
Right.
They could get you. So when somebody says that I could get you on the first page of Google, I guarantee it. Don't trust them, because they're selling snake oil.
Yeah. It's like an advertiser, telling you if you advertise with us, I'm going to guarantee you this. It's not possible.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, have them put it in writing then.
But where Steve and I work together is when we come up with content, I provide Steve the content with the keywords, and then that's when Steve takes over and he provides the wonderful content that he does and creates.
Well, thank you for that.
No problem. So then that's when you.
Well, I think what I'd like to do is have you guys on the show again, and we'll maybe even just talk about a particular case study and really break it down and talk about how you were able to help them either turn their reputation around or market their online experience.
There's a lot of people that you can do your SEO, and that's just the first thing is find out the keywords. That's the first step.
That you can do yourself.
You can do that yourself.
Sure.
But like I said, we spoke about a lot of samples, and then social media. Also, social media is a big signal that you can use these keywords in the content of your profile. For example, on your post, you put the keywords on your post. That's another signal. There's a lot of things that you can do.
I'm getting the signal that we're out of time. Okay. But Juan, if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
They can go to my website, which is techacs.com, or you can Google me, Juan Vides. I'm also on LinkedIn.
And Steve, how do people contact you?
Strategic Marketing Works. The website is smwmarketingny.com.
Fantastic. Steve, Juan, thanks for being a guest on the Digital Marketing Podcast.
Okay, thank you.
I'm your host, Dave Goldberg. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you again next time. The Digital Marketing Podcast is a presentation of Digital Waterworx Corporate Communication Production. Unauthorized use prohibited.